Hello everybody, ProtoFoxy here, coming back at you with another video as I steady the cam because it was shaky because dog running around the house. That's what dogs do, they run around the house and all of that and blah, 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 blah. I am on a playmat. I have a stack of cards. ProtoFoxy is back on his deck tech tip and we are going once again back into the Legacy format for a deck that I had, this is an updated version of a deck that I had initially built when I first started playing Legacy back 10, 11 years ago when I was getting it back into playing Magic. And this was an affordable deck at the time, considered for Legacy. Now this version is obviously updated because now certain cards were banned in the original version of the deck. But before I go any further about said deck, we are going to talk about this sweet, sweet card pop playmat. Supporting the local game store, the local, the LGS out here in Joliet, Illinois. If you all are ever out in Joliet, Illinois, off Jefferson Street, pop into Card Pop. That was a pun and a half. Ha! I'm so punny. That might happen more than once in this video. But anyway, head on into Card Pop. The owner, Brendan, takes good care of you. Great little place. Nice chill place to play some cards, get you some cards, some singles, some collectibles. He'll take care of you. Link in the description below for Card Pop to come check it out if you happen to be in the area. But today, this Legacy deck in front of you. Now you're saying, ProtoFoxy, I see a Karn the Great Creator and he shows up in a lot of different places. What Legacy deck are you talking about? Well, I am talking about a mono black control deck that was originally referred to as Pox, and its eponymous card, namesake, was in the deck. It's not in here, but there is another card in here, and you'll see it. It is a very vicious mono black control deck, and now it usually sits out in the fringes of the Legacy format, but when it Poxes up, yep, I did it again. So punny, ha ha! When it pops up, tends to do pretty decently. Found this build, decided to put Pox back together because I wanted to try and jump back into Legacy again. Previous deck tech you saw was Show and Tell. That was one I've been wanting to build for a long time, and then I wanted to put a version of Pox back together because it is to me it's fun, and I guess that makes me a villain because this deck is just vicious, or at least Pox, mono black control and Legacy tends to be pretty vicious anyway. But enough of me gabbing. Let's get into the deck as we see it here. First off, you'll see no creature, so I can't say creature package, so I guess Planeswalker package? Maybe. Anyway, we got 1, 2, 3 Karn the Great Creator. 4 generic. Let me straighten the card out. Apologize for the glare. 4 generic for Karn. He has 5 loyalty. Activated abilities of artifacts your opponents control can't be activated. That is brutal in Legacy. His +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with a power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. They say mana value now, but you will make me say that over my dead body. It is converted mana cost CMC. Boom. Sorry about that. And then his -2. You may choose an artifact from choose an artifact card you own from outside the game or in exile. Reveal that card and put it into your hand. Just good stuff. You're wishing for stuff out of your sideboard. Boom, we got 3 Karn the Great Creator. See Karn. Excellent, excellent Planeswalker. Now we come into one of the best Planeswalkers ever printed, and that is Liliana of the Veil. We know what she does, don't we? Wherever she shows up, she's just an all-star. Single generic and a black. 3 loyalty. +1 is symmetrical discard. -2, target player sacks. -6, separate all permanents target player controls into 2 piles. That player sacrifices all permanents in the pile of his or her choice. Boom. Liliana of the Veil. And then we've got 2 Liliana the Last Hope. Single generic and 2 black for a 3 loyalty Liliana. It's +1 up to 1 target creature gets -2/-1 until your next turn. -2, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, then you may return a creature card from your graveyard into your hand. And then her ultimate, the -7, is you get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step. Put X, 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield where X is 2 plus the number of zombies you control. Bam! Planeswalkers. Good stuff going on. So we go into that. Now we're going into the spell package. Boom, we get that out of the way. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Dark Rituals. We know what Dark Ritual does. Single black, gives you 3 black. Boom. Great mana accelerant. We've got 4 Innocent Blood, single black for a sorcery. Each player sacks a creature. Boom. Removal. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Inquisition of Kozilek. Single black for a sorcery. Target player reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it with converted mana cost 3 or less. That player discards that card. Boom. Hand destruction. And then we've got 4 Hymn to Torak. 2 black for a sorcery that reads, target player discards 2 cards at random from his or her hand. If target player does not have enough cards, his or her entire hand is discarded. So you're forcing them to discard 2. Now this, I do have to talk about a little bit because I do love this card. It is a common. It is not legal in Pauper because it is so good. This is actually not my original play set. I don't even believe I have the original play set of the card anymore before I put it down. We're going to talk about Hymn to Torak. But when I first played Magic back in the 90s, I played with this card a lot. I had a really horrible Rakdos, I would say maybe mid-range deck, but I don't remember it being any good. But it was built off of the back of this card, and then the red was Lightning Bolt and Goblin Grenade. Just ripping apart hand, going to the face. Back in the day on the lunchroom tables in high school. But yeah, I love this card. Like I said, this isn't the original play set. I think I only have a couple left of it. I might have traded a couple away, and I know a couple are now in a commander decks here and there, but inexpensive card, really great discard spell. Boom, got 4 of those guys. And now we come into 4 Smallpox. 2 black for a sorcery. Each player loses a life, discards a card, sacks a creature, then sacks a land. Basically, again, Smallpox, a smaller version of the card Pox, which is no longer being run in the deck, but still bears its namesake because of, you're still poxing your opponent. So you're just, really just denying any resource you can with this deck. That's the point of control, is it not? So then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Sinkholes. 2 black for a sorcery. Destroy target land. Simple, clean, efficient. We know what we're doing. Bam. We've got a single Nether Void. 3 generic and a black. This is, I believe this is just a, how do they say it now? Because the old wording, enchant world, so it's just an enchantment. So yeah, I'm just trying to remember the wording here. All spells are countered unless their casters pay an additional 3. Vicious stuff. And a counter in black. What? All right, we've got a single Curse Scroll. Single generic. You tap it. Pay 3 and tap it. Name a card. Target opponent chooses a card at random from your hand. If he or she chooses a named card, Curse Scroll deals 2 damage to target player. And that is incredibly vicious. That's how you're taking your your opponent down. We've got a single Ensnaring Bridge. 3 generic for an artifact. Creatures with power greater than the number of cards in your hand can attack. Dump your hand, and all of a sudden your opponents can't do anything. There is no combat going on. Bam, that is the other spell package of the deck. Lots of fun stuff going on here. So as we clean all this up, we will go into the mana base. Again, one of the more interesting, fun parts of Legacy because mana bases tend to be expensive. This one isn't so bad, though. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Wastelands. It's destroy Target non-basic land. Bam. Resource denial. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Mishra's Factory. And that adds a generic. You tap 1, it becomes a 2/2 assembly worker. It's still a land. And then if you tap it, target assembly worker gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So you get multiple guys on the field. You get a big beater swinging in. Bam. That's how you do your combat damage. We got a single Maze of Ith. It doesn't tap for any mana, but if you tap it, target attacking creature becomes untapped. This creature neither deals nor receives damage as a result of combat. So you're just fogging out the board, or you're fogging out a creature on the board, rather. Boom. We've got 3 Castle Lock Plains. Enters battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp. Adds a black. You pay generic and 2 black. Draw a card and lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. Bam, we got 3 of those guys. We've got, you know what this guy is. We got 2 Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land types, so it turns all the lands to swamps. And we got the OG, I think this is Plane Shift? Yeah, I think it's Plane Shift. And then we got the Time Spiral, new version, so you can see how the old and new borders look. Bam. Single Bajuka Bog. It enters tapped. When it enters, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. It adds a black. There is your graveyard hate, which is very important in Legacy. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 beautiful swamps. Easy, elegant, nothing crazy, just a whole lot of swampy action going on here. As we're gathering the lands together, we're going to go ahead and get my final thoughts on the deck. Now, like I had said at the start of said video, ProtoFoxy talk goodly do he yes do. The initial version of Pox, I believe, God, I want to say it was probably running Bloodghast as a threat along with Mishra's Factory. Ran just Liliana the Veil, and then it was heavier on discard. I think it had Thoughtseize, if I remember correctly. A lot of its card selection and draw was done with Sensei's Divining Top, which is no longer legal in Legacy, which is sad. And then, of course, new cards get printed. Obviously, Karn the Great Creator, stuff like that. And again, it sits on the fringes. It shows up, does well when it does show up, but not everybody's playing it. It's not one of the bigger archetypes out there, but it's a fun deck, and it can be had relatively inexpensive. Nether Void's an expensive card. You don't have to run it. I was just able to come across it. There's some expensive stuff in the sideboard. Again, don't necessarily have to run it, but I had it. Why not? But yes, elegance. Simplicity in its elegant in its simplicity. I can speak good. Elegant in its simplicity. That this is just a vicious resource denial control deck. And that's what control decks do in Magic the Gathering. Anywho, if you liked the video, maybe give it a like. If you did, shoot a subscribe my way. I greatly appreciate it. I will leave you all with this. Be kind to yourselves and your fellow human beings because life is too short, so play on. Check out Card Pop if you are in the Joliet, Illinois area. It's off of Jefferson. Links in the description below, and I will see you all in the next video.